Alright, so in this video I want to go over a brief demo of the calculator app web widget. So in this web widget, it basically gives you the ability to embed calculators into your sites. You also are going to have a lot of settings, so we have some pre-built templates for right now. We are going to be adding more. If you have any recommendations on custom formulas or calculators that you'd like to see added, please just add them to the support requests. We can always talk through how things should work. Definitely want to make this as usable and as expansive as possible to cover as many different scenarios. So definitely willing to increase these over time as needed. So right now we got the ROI calculator. You can set titles, and you've got headlines, subheadlines. You can set your currency symbol that you use. We also have locale number formats. These are the current formats. If you have any additional ones that you would need for your use case, please just add a support request into the marketplace, and then we can definitely talk through how to add more in for those. You also have number precision, so you can do 2 decimal places, 1, you can do 0, and then that'll update on the app. For inputs, these are going to change per template. So after you set up a template that you want to build a calculator for on the first tab, you're then going to have the inputs for that tab. And if I close this for a second, you can see these are all the inputs for the ROI. And then they use the $sign for the number format, and then they have those. So now that we go back into here, let's open the inputs again. You can see a lot of the same things. So the unit, prefix before the number, min value, max value, what to step by, how much to grow the number by in the number picker. You've got default values. That kind of comes into play when you talk about the showing the results by default on page load. So instead of just seeing the help text right here on using the calculator, you could actually go ahead and pre-populate it with some information. You can also hide certain fields if they're not something that the visitor needs to see, and you just want to set like a preset default value for it. Those can all be set here, and that kind of goes through all of the different input fields that are here, so you kind of have all the same options with them as they go. Now you've got the results. You can see here for each result, you've got the label, you've got whether format it is, per percent, number. You can change those, still percent for that. Go back to that, turns that around. You've got a summary message. These are optional. You can go through here. So a lot of customization and customizability for each of these different sections. And each of these different boxes will have its own settings. After that, you have the CTA tab. This is going to be useful if you want to push them to another CTO URL. You can do CTA placements below the results, in line with the calculate button, floating bottom of the widget, and then you can do a lot of these different things like that. So one thing to kind of keep in mind with that is you also have the triggers that are part of the high level sites by themselves. So you can turn on the trigger for the pop-up. So after they click the calculate button, it's going to automatically show the pop-up that you've designed in your high level settings for the site. You can also trigger the next step after the CTA click, and all of these things can be toggled on or off from here. So as you can see now, we've got that get it started. Let me turn that back off for now. We can go to the design. Right now I'm using the editorial split, so you can kind of see that split right there. But if I go back to design, I can choose just the minimal card view, and then that just kind of puts everything below. So you've got the fields above, calculate, and then it shows everything below there. We can also go back, and you can see the bold offer, and then you can kind of see the compact inline, which is just going to be a lot more narrow, just to kind of pull that stuff into there like that. So we'll go back to the editorial split just to see things a little bit easier. You have a lot of color options that you can choose from to change things. One thing I can show you right here is this color is too dark for that purple background. So one thing I can do is I can click here and I can just toggle this up a little bit. So now you can see that's a lot brighter, which is great. So we'll do that. Keep that color like that. You've got typography. We also set it to the pages fonts by default. So if you've already got fonts set for the page of your site, we can go ahead and default to that. You can also change this if you don't like that font for this section or this element. You can change those, so now you can see the font has changed. I'm going to leave it on match page fonts so that it matches the rest of my page, but then you also have all of your other typography settings. To change that, button colors, hover colors, you've got a lot of different options for, setting up styles and stuff for this calculator. Now if we go back, the last one is going to be the advanced section. If we didn't have the show results on load, which is what's over there, you're going to see this empty state message. So this is something you can do if you don't want to show the results on page load. So they have to actually type in the stuff they want to see and then hit calculate. They can do that. You've got your validation messages for missing required fields, minimum values, maximum values, etc. And then you also have your calculator ID. This is the internal ID. Don't change this, it's just there for, internal purposes mainly, but it is there if you need it. So that kind of looks like that. You can see this is good. We'll come back up here, we'll close this, and then just real quickly you can kind of see on my basic site, this is a very basic example of what this looks like when you go through and actually use it. Alright, let me know if you have any questions, and if you have any feedback or improvements that can be made, don't hesitate to drop a support request in to the portal. Thank you.